someone in your ear is giving you direction. Someone in your ear might also be giving you a question that they think you should ask. And then it's up to you to be listening to the person and decide if you want to ask the question that the person in your ear just told you, or you want to ask the question that you want to ask. Or maybe there's a different question that you're getting from their follow-up. So there's like a lot of stuff going on in your brain and you're on live television.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Whole Story Podcast. Robbie and Jonathan here. Jonathan, we talked about a lot of things today with our guest and friend Hally Leadbetter, but one which I know is near and dear to your heart, talking about snacks on a golf course.
Snack time. Yeah,
snacks on a golf course.
I was already thinking, I saw it online and thought, how do I get a sleeve of those? And then I was like, well, how do I get a box of those? Because I have been known to eat an entire bag of protein balls from Costco in a very, very short period of time. So
I don't know if that's recommended. Did you read the instructions on the box?
No, it just said they're healthy for you. So I just kept eating them. But I've also done the same thing with tacos and burritos from Costco too. If I get stuck on something, I'll just eat it forever. But I mean, the thing that struck me was someone as talented as she is in the game of golf, and then finding avenues to live out a creative life and still be connected to the game. That obviously, as you'll hear in her story, in terms of her parents being connected to golf, her playing at a very high level. And so, I mean, it's kind of like what we talk about, right? Like pinch yourself every once in a while when you're in places going, how did we end up here? So man, I was fascinated by all the different things she does, and also a little tired. Like, she's involved in 18 different things. How in the world do you keep that all straight? So.
Yeah. Well, it's a reminder. I think, like you just said best, like, she is extremely well connected just from a family standpoint, but she has not rested on that. She's gone out and done her own thing and is crushing it with her broadcasting, her storytelling, her videos, and even now in a snack mode for golf and other things. So, yes, she does a billion different things, but she's doing it well. So it was a lot of fun chatting with her, learning more about her story. And many thanks to our friend Megan Godfrey for introducing us to Hally. This was a lot of fun. So anything that you learned from Hally that you might not have known?
So I've seen Jay Larson sort of doing some golf skit things. I didn't know he was that involved, and I find him probably one of my favorite comedians. I could listen to his skit on the wrong phone number. Have you ever heard that one?
I think I have.
I could listen to that skit 2 or 3 times a day. I find it every time my phone rings, I kind of hope that someone's got a wrong phone number for me now.
That's funny. Oh man, very nice. Well, yeah, this episode was a lot of fun. You guys will enjoy it. We do need to mention, as always, that we are brought to you by our friends at Summit Golf Brand. So we're both rocking a Bedrati polo. They are great out on the course. Keeps you cool whether you go with cotton or if you go with a little more performance material, their sport stuff. If you do need some rain gear, raining a little bit outside today, you got the zero restriction stuff, and obviously the fairway and green. We're a big fan of theirs. If you go to any of their sites and use BestBall20, you can save 20%. So, Jonathan, any final comments before we jump into today's episode?
I'm still almost every single week surprised and amazed at the people that we get to talk to because of this incredible game and our podcast. And if you've listened to the intro this long, thank you for continuing to listen and put us in front of different people. So hopefully you'll enjoy the story as much as we do whenever we hear new guests.
Yep, I completely agree. And you can help us find more guests and get in front of more people. That way they can enjoy it as well, just by liking, following, subscribing, whatever platform you're on, and even give a good review. That would help go a long way. But anyway, let's get to our guest, our new friend, Hally Leadbetter. Y'all enjoy. All right. Well, joining us today on the Whole Story Podcast, Miss Hally Leadbetter. Hally, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, guys. Thank you so much. Also, I really love the name of your podcast, by the way. It's very clever. I'm like, I see what you did there.
Yeah, no, it's that was something that when we started Best Ball, we're like, how do we tell stories? And I don't know who came up with it, but yeah, we're I don't know, 180, 190 episodes in, and we've talked to some incredible people. And apologies for just now having you on the show. I feel like we'll blame you that we weren't big enough, and we still are not, to have somebody like yourself on the show. But
Oh, no, no, no.
it's an honor.
It's an honor and a pleasure to be on the pod. I really appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah. Well, like we do with all our guests, like we love what people are doing, but it's got to start somewhere, right? And so I know you've got a storied history in the game of golf, but just kind of share your life in golf and how you got, I guess, growing up, and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, so it's funny. If people kind of aren't familiar with my family background in golf, and they say, "Oh, how long you been in the golf industry?" I'm like, "Well, I'm 33 years old, so 33 years."
Yeah.
My parents met because my mom was playing on the LPGA tour and went to go get lessons with my dad, and sure enough, they fell in love, and I was like, "That's not very professional," but hey, they've been together for 35 years, so it worked out. But yeah, so grew up in the game. My dad is a golf instructor and has been to some of the best players in the game, and kind of grew up around it. But what's funny is I really didn't like golf when I was little. I actually wanted nothing to do with it. I remember going to the range, and my dad would be teaching, Nick Faldo, Nick Price, and I would just be sitting there and being like, "It's so hot. Can we go?" Just so I really was not a fan of golf until I'd say around 12 or 13 was when my brothers started really getting into it. I have two brothers. I have an older brother and a younger brother, so I'm in the middle. And my brothers are starting to get really good, and I was like, "Man, I don't like this. Like, I gotta get in the mix here." So started picking up the game a little bit more. Played my first 18 holes when I was, I think, 12 or 13, and I shot 136. And I was like, "Oh boy, I got a long way to go." But for better or for worse, I've always been a very like all or nothing person. So I went from like wanting nothing to do with golf to being like, I'm going to be on the LPGA. So when I was about 13, 14, it's when I was like, all right, well, if I want to play in college, I really got to get moving here. So I ended up going to a sports academy called IMG, went to high school there. Got good enough to earn a college scholarship and play at the University of Arkansas. And I played there for 3 years. And then I transferred to Rollins College, which is a D2 school in Florida. Finished out there, won the D2 national championship my senior year, which was a fun way to go out.
Nice.
And then, I think at that point, I'd say my third year at Arkansas was when I was like, you know what, I really love golf. I do love competitive golf, but I feel like I love talking about it more than I love like having to make the ball go in the hole for my paycheck. And so ultimately, there was a lot of back and forth having that realization. There was a lot of guilt associated with that as well, because I was like, man, I feel like, I have the physical talent, I have the resources, but it wasn't in my heart. And I had to kind of get over that and be like, well, that's okay. Like, that's maybe this, you're just not meant to play professional golf. Like, maybe there's something else that I'm really drawn to. So ultimately, like I said before, when I was little, I hated or didn't want anything to do with golf, but I was really into acting and dancing and anything that was like entertainment. So I realized when I was in college and I transferred to Rollins that I needed maybe I needed to kind of combine those two things. So started doing the college radio station at Rollins, which I was encouraged to do by my coach, Coach Julie Garner at Rollins. And then that's when I decided, like, oh, okay, this is kind of what I love. If I could figure out how to combine golf and, entertainment. So ultimately turned pro for about 6 months after college, and then it was like, okay, yeah, no, this is definitely not for me. But gave it a real brief go, which I'm glad I did, because it was just, solidified the fact that it was not for me. Ultimately, then got my first job, which was social media coordinator at Golf Digest. So I was at Golf Digest for about 8 months. Then a position opened up at the PGA Tour to be a producer. Golf Digest was very supportive of me moving to Jacksonville. I thought never in a million years would I go back to New York City. Well, 8 months later, my boss at Golf Digest left to go to Golf Magazine. So Golf Digest asked me to come back. So I moved to New York City, to Florida, back to New York City in the span of a year and a half. And then was at Golf Digest for a full time for another 5 years, started doing a lot more on camera stuff. And Golf Digest was really, really supportive of me, kind of continuing that journey. So I'd say it's been about 5 years, 6 years ago now where I started my entrepreneurial journey, if you will, and was so grateful to Golf Digest because I thought they were either going to say, like, listen, you either work here full time or you do your own thing. But they were really supportive of me, growing my, on camera hosting business. And then, the other things that have come after that, they've been so supportive of. So yeah, that kind of brings us up to speed of where we're at now. But it's been a very, very fun journey. And it's funny if you would have told me like in college, if I would have, oh, you'd be living in Los Angeles and you'd be doing what you're doing, I would be like, there's no way, that's impossible. But it's funny when you look back and like you guys said before we hopped on, one of your favorite parts of golf is the people that you meet. The things that I've have gotten to take part in or have projects I've gotten to work on have all been because of the relationships that I've built in the game. Even if it was like I played with someone or, got to meet someone at the PGA show and like 5 years later, that person, reaches out and says like, hey, would you want to do X, Y, and Z? Or I think of them for something. Like it really is amazing the people that you meet in the golf space. And I'm very grateful to have been able to, build my career in the golf. So anyways, that's a very long-winded answer, but now we're up to speed.
Now we're here. All right, good.
What was that first conversation like with your college coach, where I'm assuming to some level you recruited to come to Florida, and then you get there and you're like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do this for the rest of my life. I mean, you delivered because you won a championship, but at the same time, it sounded like your coach was pretty influential in sort of giving you opportunities or avenues to explore what that meant.
For sure. No, that was, I think, something that was huge about Rollins College for me was because Coach Julie was very much about um developing us and as people. And that's not to say that Arkansas wasn't. Arkansas was as well, but Arkansas is an SEC school. Like you're there to, to play golf. And Rollins even more so, like, to the point where, like, the teachers sometimes would be like, "Yeah, we literally don't care that you play sports." And to the point where you're like, "No, but I literally, like, I can't be here because I can't be in class because I," and they're like, "Yeah, we don't care, like, points off." And you're like, "No, no, no, like, I that's how I'm paying to be here is playing golf." But, ultimately just a very holistic approach to, to growing as a human being, especially at that point in your life. You're what, 20, 21 years old, and you're trying to figure out who you are and what makes you tick. And I felt very grateful for the kind of like long leash, I think, that like Coach Julie gave me, and like her willingness to like, I did a radio show from 5 to 7 in the morning, and then we had team workouts at 7 a.m. And so like she was very supportive of me going to do that, and then, running into workouts and joining the stretch and like hopping in with the team. And so I felt she kind of, I think, knew that ultimately, like, that's why Rollins really appealed to me, was because I was maybe at the time being like, maybe I don't necessarily want to play professional golf, but I still want to go to a school that would, have the facilities and play a solid schedule. And that's what's so interesting about Rollins is like it is a D2 school, but they play primarily a D1 schedule. I mean, they've won 13 D2 national championships. They're just a small school. So I felt ultimately it was like a really good place for me to go and obviously keep my golf game progressing, but simultaneously explore what other things interested me.
So the creative side of what you do, and I know you have the Better Co, and we can talk about that and some of the videos and stuff. And you mentioned how Golf Digest was kind enough or gave you the opportunity to kind of dabble in both, right? Like the stuff you were doing for them, but also to explore your creative side. So where are you coming up with some of these ideas for, I guess, the videos you shoot or the stories that you want to tell?
Yeah, so, I feel very lucky. A big part of the reason why I moved to Los Angeles about 6 years ago, because like I said, I've always been very interested in the entertainment industry. So I was like, all right, well, if I could keep my day job, if you will, in the golf industry and move out to LA and, meet some really cool people in the entertainment space, see what I can learn, then that would be kind of the best of both worlds. So for me, a lot of the ideas that myself or Better Co that we put out, it's a real group effort. We have a fantastic group of comedy writers that we work with out here in LA. Kate Scarpetta, who actually played golf at Princeton, so she knows golf very, very well. And actually played on the Epson tour. As well as Forrest Shaw, who's a stand-up comedian. We work with a lot with a guy named Jay Larson, who's a fantastic director
He's
and
hilarious.
writer and stand-up comedian. So we have this like awesome pod of people out here that are really, really creative. And so what we'll do is like we have this thing called Creative Club where we'll hop on a Zoom for a couple hours and we'll be like, all right, who's got like a good idea? Okay, cool. Like let's run with it. And then okay, now you go write that and then bring it back and then we'll all edit it together. So I mean, I've had a couple like, good premises that I've thrown out to the group, but a lot of the stuff too, it's like it's not even necessarily mine. It's someone else brought it to the group and then we all write it together. And it's funny because by the end we're always like, whose idea was that? And who and wait, who and it's like because it just becomes so much better because you're working with like this group of like 6 or 7 just brilliant creative people. And the fact that they all happen to have like their own intimate relationship with golf as well is what makes it extra special because you guys know golf is so niche. Like unless you play it yourself, you're going to have a very difficult time writing about it and talking about it because people will immediately pick up on that you don't know what you're talking about if you're trying to like say certain things because the vernacular is so specific and the way things happen is so specific. So feel very lucky to work with like an awesome group of people that are incredibly creative, but also share a love of golf.
If you're out on a golf course with that group of folks, how do you even get through a round?
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
I can't imagine.
No, it's funny. I've played I haven't I've played with them all on separate occasions. I have not played with them all at once, which I do think to your point, I don't think we'd be able to get through the round.
Right.
I feel like there's a video or something coming about a golf pretender, right? Like I think you just wrote the next skit
That
where
is
somebody
funny. That
shows
is
up
funny. Someone
pretending and
trying to act like they
says
know
all the
golf.
wrong thing, does all the wrong things. So yeah.
Yeah, I love
Um,
that.
yeah. So you've done the creative side of stuff, but you've also done some broadcasting things as well. Do
Mhm.
you like one or the other, or is it kind of a different challenge to go from one to the other thing?
Yeah, it's definitely a different challenge, a different muscle. I think for me, I love interviewing people. Enjoy having a bit of time to, you know, think about my response and like hear your response. Like I love this format that we're doing currently. Broadcasting in terms of like post run interviews and stuff, it is very you have to be very efficient. And there generally like there isn't like if I'm asking you a question, I'm generally not even responding. I'm just nodding and then asking you another question, nodding, asking you another question. And then I say, thanks for your time. And off we go. Because the entire time I have someone in my ear being like, one more question. Okay, wrap it up. We have to go to this golf shot out on 16. So it's a very different muscle. I do think you still, I guess the term creative is like generally I think you think about like writing stories and movies and whatever, but you do have to be creative in that like when you're out there and someone's on 14, someone's on 15, someone's on 16, someone haven't that person's having a great round, and so that you're most likely going to have to interview them, so you
Mm.
need to sit there and generally there's not someone helping you. Like you need to be looking at their round, you need to have been watching their round and figure out like what are the things at home that people are going to want to know, and it takes like your brain firing a certain way because you could just pack it in and be like, what went well for you out there today? Like you could just be like, nice birdie to walk me through it. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course. And you're, of course, especially if you didn't have time to watch, like you might ask those questions. But it's like, when someone asks a really good question, you're like, wow, that was a good question, because I was wondering at home the same thing, and I'm so glad they asked that. So it's a completely different muscle in a very different format, but simultaneously, like, takes your brain working a specific way, and almost sometimes like under a lot of pressure, because again, that clock's counting down, that person's going to be with you in 45 minutes, and you need to have some good questions to ask them. So yeah, very like the same muscle, but in a very different scenario.
With the people in your ear and the timing cutting down, have you ever accidentally asked the wrong question to the wrong player? That'd be my biggest fear. Be like, wow, that you killed it on 13 today. And they're like, I had a triple.
Yeah. No, so I haven't had that, but I have the person in my ear did take me a minute to get used to. I remember the first time because you're also hear yourself in your ear. You also have the
Yeah.
echo of yourself in your ear. So remember the first time I ever did it, I was like, Hannah, and I just stopped. And I was like, like I was like, it like weirded me out. I was like, why am I hearing myself? So it can be very kind of like off-putting. And the only way you kind of get better at it is just doing more, and then and then also simultaneously, because someone in your ear is giving you direction, someone in your ear might also be giving you a question that they think you should ask. And then it's up to you to be listening to the person and decide if you want to ask the question that the person in your ear just told you, or you want to ask the question that you want to ask. Or maybe there's a different question that you're getting from their follow-up. So there's like a lot of stuff going on in your brain, and you're on live television. So it's
No pressure.
it's definitely stressful, but it's one of those things that, like, again, the more you do it, the better you get. And it's kind of like, yeah, the more you do it, you're like, it kind of like golf, right? Like you get in those pressure filled situations, and the more you're there, you're like, all right, I can handle this. I know what it feels like to have my heart rate beating really fast, or to feel my hands kind of clammy, and you just kind of push through it. And then over time, the symptoms just sort of get less and less.
Do you have
I
an
still
event?
trumped it every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the stress and everything else involved in it is, yeah, there's people watching, it turns into a problem.
Do you have an event or a specific thing that you've done that's like a favorite or been like a big highlight for you?
Ooh, definitely Mornings at the Masters, I think, is my
Yeah.
favorite project. Because it kind of has been able to combine everything that I really feel passionate about. I mean, I love being on camera, but I love building things and being part of the creative process. And we were very lucky to work closely on the project from its inception, and sort of help I guess shape it a little bit, which was so fun. So even, when we're thinking about what features we want to do, we were very lucky to have an incredible team that would, occasionally ask us what we thought on things. So it's been really, really fun to work on Morning at the Masters, and also just to be on site at Augusta National during the week. And to cover it there is just amazing. It's such a pinch me week, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Is there
Well,
somebody with a green jacket always around to make sure you don't mess up and say the right things? Like, because I live in town and they
Yeah.
have a tendency to control a few things.
Yeah,
They like to be in
no,
charge.
they're walking around for sure. They're for walking around for sure. But they feel very lucky to have had a couple of the members be, that are very knowledgeable about entertainment,
Absolutely.
be on the, be around. So it was actually cool to hear their insight. And so, if they like it, that it's good. So they were always incredibly supportive, and would come in and shake our hands and watch our rehearsals. And yeah, so it was, as nerve-wracking as it was also like such a huge vote of confidence to know that they thought what we were doing was great.
that's awesome. Is there something in like the golf broadcasting space that you haven't done yet that's like, man, I really want to do this?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, you know what? Not I don't think so. I think what I would love to do is like maybe more things like Mornings at the Masters. I think there's room for um I just think there's more room to kind of bridge the gap between the more traditional broadcasting space and the, I guess, what you would call more of like the YouTube golf and like the creator golf side of things. So, not necessarily a project or an event or a role that I haven't gotten to do just yet, but more things that I'm hoping that I could like help, maybe facilitate coming to be in the future.
Like cup of tea at the open, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah, why not?
just
Yeah, exactly.
copy and
That's
paste, do it somewhere
kind of,
else.
I don't know how many people would wake up for it over there, over here, but I
That's
would be
true.
so down for that.
Oh, there'd be a lot of people. We affectionately call it coffee golf, right?
Yeah,
Because
there you
everybody
go.
wakes up at
Exactly.
4 o'clock in the morning, just an
Mhm.
extra hour.
Mhm.
And like you said, because I mean, it's interesting to think. Because I was going to ask, what was 5 o'clock radio like whenever you were in college, and now what you create literally lives almost in infamy because of digital footprints and
Oh,
YouTube and
yeah.
things like that. So, I mean, no one's listening to your 5 a.m. radio
No.
from 10,
No.
15 years ago,
Yeah.
but now it's out there all the time.
Mhm. No, it that's so funny, yeah. I remember you'd get in there at 5 a.m. and also, like, thank God it was radio because I wasn't looking pretty at 5 a.m. either. So, you're, like, rolling out of bed and you're like, "Ugh." But I did feel very lucky because what was cool about that radio opportunity was, you started from the 5 to 7 slot, and then when you get a little better and a little bit more established, you can move to that 9 to 11 spot. And that 11 to 1 slot was prime time because what was cool about that slot, once we got that slot, was, I mean, Rollins is so small. It's 1,800 undergrad. So, and the radio station was underground right across from the cafeteria. And I mean, essentially, it felt like a high school at a certain point, when you're at lunch. So, what we would do is we would go over to the cafeteria and we would ask the staff to put on our radio show in the cafeteria. And then what we would do is we'd have our friends that were of other student athletes, like on the baseball team, because my co-host was a pitcher on the baseball team, and he's actually, funnily enough, out here pursuing acting now, which is pretty cool. But we would then bring our friends on, and we would interview them, and we would be like, okay, like tell us about your pre whatever competition routine, or what's your walk-up song, and we'd play their walk-up song and they would blast it in the cafeteria. We just thought it was like the coolest thing ever. So yeah, but it is funny to your point that no one, I don't know, I don't think that is listenable to this point, which is to your point. These days everything lives forever, so you do
Right.
have to be a bit careful and kind of watch what you're saying. And not that you still want to be genuine and authentic, but yeah, you can if you can say things, and if somebody has an issue with it, they can very quickly find the thing and blast it out to the world, that's for sure.
Well, on top of all this stuff we've been talking about, the journalism, the storytelling, the creative stuff, you've also now started a snack company for golf and a bunchies, right? And I
Yeah,
will say one of the earliest, we'll do this thing later called a quick nine, and one of our
fun, okay.
favorite questions is what is the favorite snack on the course, and that's because
Oh,
Jonathan
okay,
went
yeah.
to Cabo and had tacos every couple of holes, but
Tacos.
Oh,
this is
nice.
obviously one answer that could be from everybody, but tell us about Bunchies. Like, tell us how you came up
Yeah,
with the idea, the team behind that. I have had the opportunity to try them at the PGA show and then a few other places. So, yeah, tell us the
great.
Bunchie story.
Yeah, so the bungee story is kind of funny. 4 or 5 years ago, I was just thinking about, going to a lot of golf courses like you guys do. I was like, man, why is there not like a healthy snack that I just know that's going to be here? Like, I'm crossing my fingers for a Nature Valley bar, but even those, like, you look on the back of the packet, it's all kinds of crap, right? So, no offense, Nature Valley. I do love a Nature Valley occasionally. But anyways, so I was like, all right, why doesn't this exist? And like, if it did exist, what would it be? And so went through, I originally started as a trail mix, and then it morphed into these energy balls. And I always say this, like, am so glad that I was so naive at this point. I was just like, I'm going to start a snack company and it's going to be a breeze. It's going to be like, just because something is a good idea does not mean it's easy. But so I'm very glad that I was naive, because I don't think that I would have done it if I would have knew the mountain of work that it took. And but I'm glad, and I am currently so glad that we are on this journey. But man, did not know what I was getting into. But anyways, 5 years ago, had the idea, did what, my side of the things, which, more of like a marketing, creative. So I had all that kind of planned out. And then when I started really digging into what it takes to actually create a CPG product, from the actual, you got to get food scientists and chefs and things like shelf life, and obviously you've got to get the nutrients right, and you've got to the packing and the margins and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know.
I just wanted to make a snack. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I just want to make a snack. Exactly. So I remember I was doing a turkey trot with Amanda Balionis, Thanksgiving 2024, and I was like, you know what? I was like, my day job, if you will, is going well. I really should just lock in on this. And she's like, so I think I'm gonna just be done with the snack thing, and I'm okay with that. And she's like, okay, well, before you put it to bed, can you just talk to my friend Alex? He works in the food industry. Like, it might just be worth a conversation. And I was like, all right. So I hop on the phone with Amanda's friend Alex. It's her best friend from childhood, growing up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Lo and behold, he owns a food consulting company. Like, this is literally what he does. And he's like, oh, I could do this in my sleep. And so, look at the pricing. They are very good at what they do. Hence, they are very, very expensive. And I'm like, I haven't raised any money. Like, I don't have the funds to pay you guys to do this. And he's like, well, what if we were to partner, and, we can own the company together, and it'll be, be fun. I was like, oh, that'd be amazing. I'd love to do that. So a year, we partner, we do a whole year working, like what I said, the food scientists and the chefs and the finding the co-packer and getting the branding right. And you got to get the boxes and the shippers and the logos and the QR codes and all this stuff. Again, nothing that I had ever taken into consideration. And ultimately launched at the PGA show, and was just blown away by the reception. I mean, the golf course is just going, assistant pro walking by, grabbing one, running back to find their head pro or their F&B director to be like, we have to have this in our club. We have to have this. And so it's been a really incredible journey. I mean, our first customer out of the gate was Pebble Beach, and they've sold out 5 times already. And at courses like Bel Air and Sleepy Hollow, all the Dormy networks, Mid Pines, Pine Needles. It's been really, really awesome to see the reception. I'm just so glad that I had that turkey trot with Amanda at the end of 2024. So yeah, been a very, very fun journey.
I think the real question is, how many of them do you currently have in your cabinet at your house?
Oh, that's a good question. So we've got, just like golf balls, they come in sleeves,
Yeah.
and then we also sell boxes of sleeves, which is exciting. So I think right now there's probably 3 boxes. So I'd say there's probably only 3 dozen in my kitchen upstairs, but in my office, that's another story. In the office, there's probably a couple. There's probably a maybe 50 to 100 boxes there, just because I gotta have them on hand in case we go somewhere. I gotta hand them out, and I'm always taking them with me now to events and things like that to try to spread the word.
Every cookout we know Hallie's bringing.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. You know what I'm bringing for sure.
I can never start a snack company because I would just eat it. Like, I would be like, wait a minute. These things, what'd you do for lunch? I had a sleeve of balls.
Yeah, exactly.
That could actually be a fun challenge for every ball you lose. Like, you need to take it to golf courses with water, and the challenge is for every ball you lose, you got to eat one of the snack.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
The bunchies.
Mhm.
What and I know this is like your favorite kid question, but do you have the favorite flavor of the ones you do?
Ooh, I'm a maple peanut butter girl. That is my favorite.
That was my favorite of all of them that I tried as well.
Yeah.
You had them at Dormy, is that right, Robbie?
Well, I had them at the PGA show, but yeah, then I found them at Dormy in the Dormy Club for sure. And I texted Megan a picture. I'm like, hey, look what I just found. She's like,
Yeah.
take more pictures of that, please. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, Megan's the best.
Yeah. So what's next? I mean, right? Like you hit the ground running, PGA show, people start coming up and they say we want these. Like, how do you continue to build on that momentum and get bunchies out in front of more golfers?
Yeah. So, it's a lot of just outreach to clubs. We have like Google spreadsheets out the wazoo of, oh, reach out to this person. They're putting in touch with this F&B person. Have you heard back from the F&B person? Okay, no follow up. So there's a lot of just like just a slog, just a lot of lot of reaching out, a lot of follow up, a lot of sending out samples with handwritten notes and being like, hey, please consider us for X, Y, and Z. And then it's also getting, again, something that I did not even consider when I originally had this idea, which was like ultimately the goal is to get listed with like distributors, right? Like a US Foods or a Cisco. I didn't even know like what that was when I first started this out, but ultimately you want someone who's head of F&B at a golf course to be able to order bunchies in the same way that they order their lettuce and their milk and their Kit Kats and their Snickers and their bananas and whatever. So getting listed with those food distributors is a challenge in itself because they're not going to list you unless you can prove that you have the demand. So very excited to say that we are now listed with the majority of food distributors because we have been able to prove that enough golf courses want our stuff. But that is huge, as well as retail. Retail, getting into specialty golf shops, as well as ultimately like bigger retail. What our plan for year 2, year 3 is to expand beyond golf and have bunchies be something that you can eat when you're doing any kind of activity. I mean, we've had a lot of pickleball facilities, tennis facilities, fitness facilities reach out and just be like, hey, because they're like, oh wait, this is just an easy, quick snack. Okay, great. And so, yes, it is a great snack for the golf course, but it is a great snack for when you're doing any kind of activity. So I'd say that's kind of the next big push out beyond golf is sort of into sport in general. I was playing golf with Kevin Millar a couple months ago, the baseball player, and
Go
he
Red
was like,
Sox.
yeah, and he was like, "When you're ready to get into the MLBs, like this is the perfect snack for the dugout." And I'm like, "Really?" Like had no idea. So it's really cool to see people that are even outside of golf get excited about bunchies, and I am very excited. Being very disciplined, focusing on golf currently because I know that's where we can make our biggest mark and really grab a strong foothold. But from there, we'll look to expand beyond.
You think you'll have to do rebranding a bit since they do come in almost like a sleeve?
So they come in a sleeve, but they also come, and this actually came from the PGA show, is at the PGA show we were handing out individually wrapped bunchies, and
Mhm.
we at the time were not offering those, but a club out here in LA called Hillcrest, they do something similar to Dormy, where they have kind of like they put it in a big mason jar, and so they're like,
Right.
we want those, we want the individually wrapped. So we now have started selling those as well. So if when we do go to more, I guess, like larger retail potential partners, we probably will not do the sleeve and we will focus only on the individually wrapped. And there is the sleeve is the only thing that mentions the word golf on it
Right.
and obviously gives golf because of the sleeve, but the individually wrapped, it does not say golf on it anywhere. So that'll be probably the one that will push to just a larger sport active audience.
I feel like golf courses should give that kind of stuff away. Like, if you think about it, the psychology, if you give somebody something for free, they're willing to buy something else. Can you imagine if every cart girl for a foursome would walk up and be like, hey, we wanted to give you guys one of these per round? They would sell so much more
Yeah,
drinks to
no,
give
I
away.
love that idea. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I love that.
Plus, then
Well,
I'd get
you
a snack every time the cart girl came around. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
there you go.
that's a
Jonathan wants
bonus.
one. Well, speaking of partnerships, recent news that you guys partnered with Steph Curry's underrated golf tour. So tell us
Yeah.
about that and how that came about.
Yeah, super excited about that. Have always been such a fan of Steph and his whole team. And, a big part of Bunchies for me is, we were very lucky to partner with the Busy Head Project, which is Noah Khan's mental health charity. We got to do that for Mental Health Awareness Month in May. And so although Steph's tour isn't necessarily like mental health focused. I mean, I think golf can do wonders for your mental health, and what they're doing for kids that maybe wouldn't necessarily be able to have access to competitive golf. I think is really, really incredible. And so when the opportunity came about, I reached out to the team that runs the tour, and I said, hey, would there ever be any potential to support you guys with providing snacks for the juniors? And they were just like, absolutely, let's do it. So it was a pretty easy yes from both sides, which I feel like all partnerships kind of are, that go nice and smoothly. And so it was just such a no-brainer. And we're so excited to be a part of it. I believe they had their first tournament last week at the UF course, the Mark Bostic golf course. So we were thrilled to be there, and we'll be at their next couple events as well.
That's awesome. Well, very nice. Well, we could ask you about so many different things that you've done in golf and the stuff you're doing with Bunchies now. We want to respect your time, and so we'll start wrapping up. And we've got a couple fun things that we like to do. And
Great.
the first one, this one kind of started it all for us. Is again, we love golf stories, so we want to know. Doesn't have to be your best shot, but we want to know the best story, your most memorable story from a shot in golf.
Ooh, that's a good one. Most memorable story. Okay. Man, I'll just go with one that's kind of timely. So this week is the American Century Championship, which I've had the pleasure of playing in the last couple years, and I'll be headed out there tomorrow. But last year, I was asked to compete in the Corbell closest to the pin contest, and it was me, Alfonso Ribeiro, Brian Baumgartner, Michael Pena, and a bunch of people, like a really fun group. And they do a package for it and toss to it during the broadcast on NBC, and it's really fun. And I hit one of the best shots of my life. Hit it to, I don't know, about 4 or 5 feet, and I won it. And I was actually the first woman out of the 20 something years to win the closest to the pin. And that was really cool because the video of it's like there's this massive like Corbel champagne bottle, and I'm spraying it everywhere, and everyone's jumping up and down. And I'd say, even though that wasn't in like an actual round, that was a really special shot because I got to be there with my brother who caddies for me every year, and then they announced me on the tee as like the closest to the pin winner. And I say that was really special, especially with again, that tournament being this week.
Performing under pressure. I like that.
I would say no problems here. She probably had at least 1 or 2 bunchies just before.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that really
Of
juiced
course.
it up.
You always play better. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, another thing we like to do is what we call the quick 9. So just a little rapid fire back and forth. Our
Great.
first question is, what is your favorite course you've ever played?
Oh man, my favorite course I've ever played, honestly, might be one that I played last week. I played Royal Birkdale ahead of the Open Championship. And it
Nice.
was so hard, you guys. It was so hard, but all I wanted to do was go around again. I was on about 3 hours of sleep. No bunchies with me. That was stupid. No, but actually no, I think I did, but I ate them all. But I would have gone around again just because I was like, man, that course was so awesome. So I'd say, definitely. I mean, Royal Birkdale's got to be up there, and I cannot wait to watch the guys take it on here in a couple weeks.
Do you have, and this will be aired after the fact, so this will be predicting the future that happens. But who's going to win? That's a little side note.
Oh man, I'm gonna go. I was gonna say, let's see.
She's looking at her gambling spreadsheet. If you're
Right.
if you're watching,
No, I feel like I don't want to say Scotty Scheffler because everyone says Scotty Scheffler.
for good
I feel
reason.
like Colin Morikawa is kind of on the up and up as of late. I
Okay.
could see him, I don't know, just winning an Open. I feel like him holding the claret jug. You won't have any issues with the top on that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm gonna say Colin Morikawa.
All right. This will be great to go back and show Colin that you predicted it. All right. Second question. What is the course at the top of your bucket list?
Ooh, I'd say probably Friar's Head. I haven't gotten out
Nice.
there. I'd love to get out there. Yeah. What about you
Okay.
guys? I got to turn it around. I got to know your bucket list courses.
I mean, the obvious one's the one in town for me,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I have. I don't. I feel like I have to get better at golf before I should probably go play bucket list golf courses. Like there's times where like I like playing, but I'm still not very good, and so sometimes I think like if I'm gonna like travel to Australia to play the infamous courses down there, I should probably be able to break 90 more than once every year or something like that. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, the next one maybe whoever I get to play with is the next one. That's
Yeah.
usually a bucket. Like I'll play
I,
with that
I
with
I would
whatever.
say, yeah, I would say I got to go see. I was with our church's youth choir and got to see a bunch of great courses in the Highlands of Scotland, including Royal Dornoch, but did not have golf clubs. And so
Mm.
I'll throw Royal Dornoch or any of the other ones up in that area.
Okay,
that'd be
I love
fun.
that. Love
Yep.
that.
Well, and you're in the industry, so you understand at a different level than us. Like we're not getting invited to go to play the places you do, but we've also had some incredible opportunities to play in spaces that you never would have thought of or had entertained
Mhm.
because you're interacting and engaging with golf people. And
Mhm.
so I already feel like I've already probably won that lottery 3 or 4 times over in terms of the places we played in the last 2 or 3 years. And my guess is 3 years from now, I'll say the same thing. Like, I can't believe that we've been able to play these opportunities. So,
Yeah, no, for sure. It's so special.
yeah. All right. What is your favorite course that no one knows about?
Ooh. Okay, so one of my favorite golf courses ever. I don't think it's not that no one knows about it. I think some people do know about it, but it's just not like talked about very much. It's called Country Club of the Rockies. It's where my parents live in Colorado. Um, that golf course, it's just like my happy place. Like it is you feel like, I mean, so it's summer there obviously when you're playing golf, but you feel like you're in like this magical snow globe of but it's summer in that like there's a river that's running through the course and there's people whitewater rafting and fly fishing and you're hitting over the river and the ball's going like 30 yards further than it does normally. So you're just like, this is amazing.
Where in
So I'd say
Colorado?
it's in Beaver Creek, Colorado, like right next to Vail.
Okay.
Yeah, so I grew up going there. It's where we actually got married. And it's just yeah, my favorite place. Like it's just it and it's just the most beautiful place. You can't be in a bad mood when you're out there.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
All right. Next question. This will be tough, especially when you have family in the game. But who would be in your dream foursome?
Oh man, that's a good question. My
And
dream
if you
force.
want to say no family and just go
Okay, I'm
anybody
gonna say
else, yeah.
no family. I'm gonna say no
Okay.
family. So one of the things that I love about golf, which again kind of brings us back to the thing we've been talking about, which is the amazing people that you get to meet, um, is that like even I does honestly skill set really doesn't bother me. Like I could play with someone who's never touched a club, and I'm just happy if they're a cool person, and you know I get 5 hours, 4.5, 5 hours with someone that's cool. So I'd have to say. Like, I would love to play with like Amy Poehler and Tina Fey. I don't even think they
That
play
would be
golf,
awesome.
but I would love for them to come. And then let's see. And then I'd throw maybe like a let's see, me, Amy, Tina. They can be on their own cart. They can share their cart. And then in my cart, I would have um maybe like Condoleezza Rice or someone that and then me and Condi would help Amy and Tina throughout their round. And we would, you know, show them the ropes, I think would be cool.
God, that'd be such a fun group.
She seems to know her golf.
Yeah. Just have the cameras rolling.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Fun.
All right. Outside of Bunchies, what is your favorite snack at the turn?
Ooh, outside of Bunchies, I would say I do love like tuna salad in a cup. I love a tuna salad or a chicken salad in a cup with a little bit of lettuce and tomato and some hot sauce.
Hot
Is there a
sauce.
course that offers that?
Yeah. Like all the course. I mean, a lot of courses out here do. It's like they just
Okay.
tuna salad, plastic cup, load it up, good to go. I also just
In
think
the
it's very
South,
like
in the
efficient.
Southeast during the summer, it would probably not be a good idea to have
Yeah.
tuna
Yeah, I don't know
or
if I'd
chicken
want
salad
some
before you
warm
can make
tuna
that turn.
salad. No, it's got to be cold. Got to be cold,
Right.
crisp tuna salad.
All right. I'm sure you got plenty to choose from, but what is your favorite golf course logo?
Ooh, wow, that's a good one. Favorite golf course logo. I do love Sleepy Hollow. I think that one's really cool. Yeah, I'll go with Sleepy Hollow. I just think that
Okay.
one's awesome.
Popular choice. What has been your favorite pro shop purchase?
My favorite pro shop purchase. I bought a pillow at Pine Valley.
Pillow.
Wow.
They had a
Sit here on
pillow?
my couch with this pillow next to
Yeah. Yeah,
just to
I
show you
was
where
just
I've
like
been.
in there and I was like, I don't know if I'll ever be back here. I'm gonna buy a pillow. So that's
I wonder
was
how long they had that pillow on the shelf thinking, no one's ever going to buy this thing.
yeah, me. I'll buy it.
Yeah. All right. Next question. I'm curious what you will say here. What is one thing golfers should do?
One things golfers could do, like in their round or just in general, or
In general.
oh,
It's
get
an
fit.
open question, so we've got some great answers.
Okay. Yeah, get fit for clubs, I think. If you're trying to take golf I don't even want to say seriously, because I think that where people they think seriously and they think that you mean like you had to sign up for Q school or something. I'm like, no, just like if you are looking to maximize your enjoyment of the game and you're trying to get better, then I highly recommend getting fit for golf clubs, because the amount of people that I see that are attempting to swing a golf club that is not even close to what they should be trying to swing. I'm like, you were just it's so frustrating for them, you know? Like I'm like, that is a steel shaft that is 3 inches too long for you. Like, what are we doing here? You know? So I would say if you're looking to actually like if you're thinking that, hey, I really want to play golf, especially in the next couple of years, I would like to improve as those years go on, that I highly recommend getting fit for golf clubs.
I love it.
All right, last one. Finish this sentence. The best part of golf is
The people. I feel like we've said it a couple times. I'd say the people. It is truly amazing the amount of just connections and relationships that I've made in golf and the people that I've met that I really would have no business otherwise speaking with or getting to spend time with. So I would say the connections and the people is the best part of golf.
I love it. Well, this might take a second, but tell everybody where they can learn more about Bunchies and Better Co.
Yeah, absolutely. So BetterCo's website is just wearebetterco.com. Bunchies website is just eatbunchies.com. And the same thing on social media.
Or you could look at heyhally.com too.
Yeah, or heyhally.com.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, we will have links in the show notes for all this stuff. But Hally, thank you so much for coming on here today.
Thank you guys so much. I really enjoyed it. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, it's been a lot of fun. We highly recommend. Jonathan, have you had Bunchies yet? Have you been?
I have not. I mean,
All
I
right,
would
we'll have
never
to
stop
remedy
eating.
that. We'll
All right,
figure
yeah,
out a
we
way
gotta
to
get you
find a
some.
course that has them.
We got to get you some.
There we go. Well, Hally, thank you. But for Hally and Jonathan, this is Robbie, and y'all been listening to another episode of The Whole Story.